Thousands of years ago, under skies unpolluted by modern light, ancient civilizations gazed upward and saw more than just stars. They saw patterns, omens, and the very fabric of time itself. Without telescopes, satellites, or computers, they built structures so precise that they could predict eclipses, track the seasons, and even map the movements of planets. How did they do it? What secrets did they uncover about the cosmos that still leave us in awe today? In this video, we'll explore the mysteries of ancient astronomical observatories, monuments to human ingenuity that not only shaped the course of history, but also laid the foundation for our modern understanding of the universe. From the towering pyramids of Egypt to the intricate stone circles of Europe, we'll uncover how these ancient cultures turned the night sky into a tool for survival, spirituality, and discovery. Join us as we journey through time and space to decode the celestial wisdom of the past and see how it continues to influence our world today. Imagine standing in a vast, open field thousands of years ago, the night sky stretching endlessly above you. No city lights, no distractions, just the stars, planets, and the moon, glowing with an intensity we can barely imagine today. For ancient humans, this wasn't just a beautiful sight. It was a map, a clock, and a divine message all rolled into one. Long before the invention of writing or the wheel, our ancestors were already looking up, trying to make sense of the heavens. Some of the earliest evidence of this fascination comes from cave paintings like those in Lascaux, France, where dots and patterns may represent constellations or lunar cycles. These weren't just random doodles, they were humanity's first attempts to record and understand the cosmos. As civilizations began to rise, so did their need to predict the changing seasons, plant crops at the right time, and navigate vast distances. The Babylonians, for example, were among the first to develop a systematic approach to astronomy. They meticulously recorded the movements of the stars and planets, creating some of the earliest known celestial calendars. These weren't just scientific tools, they were deeply tied to their religion and mythology, with the stars seen as gods and omens. Similarly, the ancient Egyptians aligned their pyramids and temples with celestial events like the rising of Sirius, which signaled the annual flooding of the Nile. For them, the sky wasn't just a guide, it was a sacred connection to the divine. But this wasn't just about survival or spirituality. Over time, these early observations evolved into something more sophisticated. Simple star charts gave way to complex mathematical calculations, and the need for precise measurements led to the construction of the first astronomical observatories. These weren't the domed buildings we think of today. They were often open-air structures like the Babylonian ziggurats or the Egyptian obelisks, designed to track the sun, moon, and stars with incredible accuracy. What started as a way to mark the passage of time became a quest to unlock the secrets of the universe itself. And here's the fascinating part: this wasn't happening in just one place. Across the globe, from the deserts of Mesopotamia to the jungles of Mesoamerica, different cultures were developing their own unique ways of studying the sky. Each civilization brought its own perspective, blending science, art, and spirituality in ways that still amaze us today. So, as we dive deeper into the world of ancient astronomy, keep this in mind: the story of the stars isn't just one story. It's a tapestry woven from countless threads, each one revealing a new layer of human ingenuity and wonder. Now, let's turn our gaze to one of the most enigmatic structures in human history, Stonehenge. Rising from the rolling hills of southern England, this massive ring of standing stones has puzzled archaeologists, historians, and astronomers for centuries. Who built it, why, and how did they manage to align these colossal stones with such precision? The answers, it turns out, may lie in the stars. Stonehenge wasn't just a random arrangement of rocks, it was a carefully designed astronomical observatory. The monument's most striking feature is its alignment with the solstices. During the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, the sun rises directly over the heel stone, casting its rays into the heart of the stone circle. Similarly, during the winter solstice, the setting sun aligns perfectly with the monument's central axis. These alignments weren't accidental. They suggest that Stonehenge's builders had a deep understanding of the sun's yearly cycle, using the monument as a kind of celestial calendar. But Stonehenge wasn't just about the sun. Some researchers believe it also tracked the moon's movements. The so-called station stones, 4 smaller stones placed in a rectangle around the main circle, may have been used to predict lunar eclipses. By observing the moon's position relative to these stones, ancient astronomers could anticipate when the moon would pass into the Earth's shadow, creating an eclipse. This wasn't just science, it was a way to connect with the cosmos, to predict events that were seen as omens or messages from the gods. How did they do it? Without written records, we can only speculate. But one theory suggests that the builders used a combination of simple tools and careful observation. They may have used wooden posts or markers to track the sun's path over months or even years, gradually refining their measurements until they could predict solstices and equinoxes with remarkable accuracy. Then, using ropes, levers, and sheer manpower, they transported and arranged the massive stones to match these celestial events. It's a testament to their ingenuity and determination, a reminder that even without modern technology, ancient humans were capable of extraordinary feats. Stonehenge isn't just a relic of the past, it's a window into how our ancestors saw the world. For them, the sky wasn't just a backdrop, it was a living, breathing entity full of meaning and mystery. And while Stonehenge is one of the most famous examples of ancient astronomy, it's far from the only one. Across the globe, from the deserts of Egypt to the mountains of Peru, other cultures were building their own observatories, each with its own unique way of interpreting the heavens. So, as we leave the windswept plains of England behind, let's journey to another corner of the ancient world where the stars told a different story, one just as fascinating and profound. Now, let's travel across the Atlantic to the lush jungles of Mesoamerica, where the Maya built a civilization that thrived for centuries and left behind a legacy of astronomical brilliance. Among their many achievements, the Maya were master sky watchers with a particular fascination for one celestial body, Venus. Known to them as Chak-Ek, or the Great Star, Venus wasn't just a planet, it was a god, a harbinger of war, and a key to understanding time itself. But how did the Maya, without telescopes or modern instruments, track Venus with such precision? And why did they consider it so important? The answer lies in their temples. The Maya didn't just build structures to honor their gods, they designed them as astronomical observatories. Take, for example, the Pyramid of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza. This iconic step pyramid isn't just a marvel of architecture, it's a celestial calendar in stone. During the spring and autumn equinoxes, the setting sun casts shadows along the pyramid steps, creating the illusion of a serpent slithering down its side. This wasn't just a stunning visual effect, it was a way to mark the passage of time, aligning the pyramid with the sun's yearly journey across the sky. But the Maya's true astronomical genius shines in their tracking of Venus. They meticulously recorded its movements, creating detailed charts that predicted its cycles with astonishing accuracy. Venus has a unique pattern. It appears as the morning star for about 263 days, disappears for 50 days, then reappears as the evening star for another 263 days before vanishing again for 8 days. The Maya didn't just observe this cycle, they calculated it down to the day using their advanced mathematical system. Their Venus tables, found in the Dresden Codex, are so precise that they're accurate to within a few hours over a span of 500 years. Why was Venus so important to the Maya? In their cosmology, Venus was closely tied to warfare and rulership. They believed that the planet's movements influenced the outcomes of battles and the fate of kings. Before launching military campaigns, Maya rulers would consult their astronomers to determine the most auspicious times based on Venus's position in the sky. Temples like the Caracol at Chichen Itza were specifically designed to observe Venus, with narrow windows and alignments that allowed priests to track its movements with precision. For the Maya, astronomy wasn't just a science, it was a way to connect with the divine, to predict the future, and to maintain order in their world. The Maya's reverence for Venus wasn't unique. Across the ancient world, other cultures also saw celestial bodies as more than just points of light. The Greeks associated Venus with Aphrodite, the goddess of love, while the Babylonians linked it to Ishtar, a deity of fertility and war. Even today, Venus continues to captivate us, whether as the evening star or the subject of modern space exploration. The Maya remind us that the sky has always been a source of wonder, a canvas on which we project our hopes, fears, and dreams. So, as we marvel at the Maya's astronomical achievements, let's remember that their story is just one chapter in humanity's long relationship with the stars. From Stonehenge to Chichen Itza, ancient cultures around the world looked to the heavens for guidance, inspiration, and meaning. And as we'll see next, this celestial connection wasn't limited to the Old World or the Americas. It was a global phenomenon, with each culture adding its own unique voice to the symphony of the stars. Now let's journey to the sands of ancient Egypt, where the Great Pyramid of Giza stands as one of the most enduring mysteries of human history. This colossal structure, built over 4,000 years ago, has long been celebrated as a tomb for the pharaoh Khufu. But what if it was more than just a resting place for the dead? What if the Great Pyramid was also a gateway to the stars? One of the most fascinating theories about the pyramids is their alignment with the constellation Orion. The three pyramids of Giza, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure are arranged in a pattern that mirrors the three stars of Orion's belt. This isn't just a coincidence. The ancient Egyptians saw Orion as the home of Osiris, the god of the afterlife and rebirth. By aligning the pyramids with these stars, they may have been creating a celestial map, ensuring that the pharaoh's souls could ascend to the heavens and join the gods. It's a breathtaking idea that these massive stone structures weren't just monuments to earthly power, but also cosmic compasses pointing the way to eternity. But the pyramid's connection to the stars goes even deeper. The Great Pyramid's four sides are aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal directions north, south, east, and west. This precision, achieved without modern tools, suggests that the Egyptians had an advanced understanding of astronomy. Some researchers believe they used the stars to guide their construction, perhaps by observing the North Star or tracking the sun's path across the sky. The result is a structure that not only defies time but also reflects the heavens themselves. The stars weren't just a spiritual guide for the Egyptians, they were also a practical tool. Every year, the Nile River would flood, bringing fertile soil to the surrounding farmland. But predicting this flood was crucial for survival. The Egyptians noticed that the annual flooding coincided with the heliacal rising of Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky. When Sirius appeared just before dawn, it signaled the start of the flood season. This celestial event became the foundation of their calendar, dividing the year into 3 seasons: inundation, growth, and harvest. For the Egyptians, the stars weren't just distant lights, they were a lifeline, a way to navigate the rhythms of nature and ensure the prosperity of their civilization. So, what does all this tell us? The pyramids weren't just feats of engineering, they were monuments to a culture that saw the sky as a source of both divine power and practical knowledge. The Egyptians didn't just build for the present, they built for the cosmos, creating structures that connected the earth to the heavens, and they weren't alone. Across the ancient world, from the deserts of Egypt to the jungles of Mesoamerica, cultures were using the stars to navigate, to predict, and to dream. This brings us to another fascinating aspect of ancient astronomy: celestial navigation. Long before the invention of the compass or GPS, the stars were humanity's first maps. Sailors, traders, and explorers relied on the night sky to guide them across vast oceans and uncharted lands. The Polynesians, for example, used the stars to navigate the Pacific, traveling thousands of miles between islands with nothing but their knowledge of the heavens. The stars weren't just a source of wonder, they were a tool for survival, a way to explore the world and connect distant cultures. As we continue our journey through the ancient world, we'll see how this celestial connection shaped not just individual civilizations, but the course of human history itself. From the pyramids of Egypt to the open seas of the Pacific, the stars have always been our guide, a reminder that even in the vastness of the cosmos, we are never truly lost. Now let's turn our attention to the ancient Babylonians, a civilization whose contributions to astronomy were so groundbreaking that they laid the foundation for centuries of scientific discovery. Picture this: over 2,000 years ago, in the heart of Mesopotamia, Babylonian scholars were meticulously recording the movements of the stars and planets. But they weren't just stargazing for fun. They were creating some of the earliest star catalogues in human history. These weren't simple lists, they were detailed, mathematical records that allowed the Babylonians to predict celestial events with remarkable accuracy. How did they do it, and why were their discoveries so influential that they shaped the work of later astronomers, from the Greeks to the Islamic Golden Age? The Babylonians were master observers. Night after night, they tracked the positions of the stars and planets, noting their movements across the sky. Over time, they began to notice pattern cycles that repeated year after year. Using these observations, they developed a system to predict planetary movements and even eclipses. One of their most famous achievements was the Saros cycle, a period of about 18 years that they used to predict when solar and lunar eclipses would occur. Imagine the awe of seeing an eclipse and knowing it was coming, not through magic but through careful calculation. This was science in its earliest form, a blend of observation, mathematics, and ingenuity. But the Babylonians didn't stop there. They created detailed star catalogues, mapping the positions of hundreds of stars and planets. These catalogues weren't just for show, they were practical tools used by priests, scholars, and even kings. The Babylonians believed that the stars held divine messages, and by understanding their movements, they could predict the future. This belief drove them to refine their methods, creating increasingly accurate records that would influence astronomers for centuries to come. Their work didn't stay confined to Mesopotamia. The Babylonian star catalogues and mathematical techniques spread far and wide, reaching the ancient Greeks, who built on this knowledge to develop their own theories of the cosmos. Greek astronomers like Hipparchus and Ptolemy studied Babylonian records, using them to create their own star maps and models of the solar system. Later, during the Islamic Golden Age, scholars like al-Battani and al-Khwarizmi further refined Babylonian methods, blending them with their own observations to push the boundaries of astronomy even further. In many ways, the Babylonians were the unsung heroes of ancient science, their work forming the bedrock of our modern understanding of the stars. What's truly remarkable is how their legacy lives on. The same mathematical principles the Babylonians used to predict eclipses are still in use today, a testament to their enduring genius. And while their star catalogues may seem primitive by modern standards, they represent a monumental leap in human thought, a shift from seeing the stars as mere points of light to understanding them as part of a vast, interconnected system. So, as we marvel at the Babylonians' achievements, let's remember that their story is just one thread in the rich tapestry of ancient astronomy. From the star charts of Mesopotamia to the observatories of Greece and the Islamic world, each culture built on the knowledge of those who came before, creating a legacy that continues to inspire us today. And as we'll see next, this global exchange of ideas wasn't limited to the old world. It was a phenomenon that spanned continents, connecting civilizations in ways that still shape our understanding of the universe. Now, let's dive into one of the most astonishing artifacts of the ancient world, a device so advanced that it was centuries ahead of its time. Imagine a machine small enough to fit in your hands, capable of predicting the movements of the sun, moon, and planets with pinpoint accuracy. Sounds like something out of science fiction, right? But this wasn't a modern invention. It was the Antikythera Mechanism, an ancient Greek analog computer that has baffled historians and scientists for over a century. Discovered in a shipwreck off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera in 1901, this intricate bronze device is often called the world's first computer. But what exactly did it do, and how did the ancient Greeks over 2,000 years ago create something so sophisticated? The Antikythera Mechanism wasn't just a simple clock or calendar, it was a marvel of engineering. Inside its wooden case, a complex system of gears, dials, and inscriptions worked together to track celestial events. By turning a hand crank, users could calculate the positions of the sun and moon, predict eclipses, and even determine the dates of the Olympic Games. The device even accounted for the irregular movements of the planets, a feat that required an advanced understanding of celestial mechanics. To put it simply, the Antikythera Mechanism was like having an entire astronomy textbook in the palm of your hand, a tool that brought the cosmos down to Earth. But here's the real kicker: nothing like it would appear again for over 1,000 years. The level of precision and complexity in the Antikythera Mechanism was unmatched until the rise of medieval clockmakers in Europe. How did the ancient Greeks achieve this? Scholars believe the device was likely based on the work of earlier astronomers like Hipparchus, who studied the motions of the stars and planets. The Greeks didn't just observe the heavens, they sought to understand them, using mathematics and engineering to create tools that could model the cosmos. The Antikythera Mechanism is a testament to their genius, a reminder that even in the ancient world, humans were capable of extraordinary innovation. What's even more fascinating is how this device connects to the broader story of ancient astronomy. The Greeks weren't working in isolation. They built on the knowledge of earlier civilizations like the Babylonians and Egyptians, blending their observations with their own discoveries. The Antikythera Mechanism is a perfect example of this global exchange of ideas. Its design reflects a deep understanding of celestial cycles that were first mapped by the Babylonians, while its craftsmanship showcases the Greeks' unparalleled skill in engineering. It's a bridge between cultures, a symbol of how ancient civilizations shared and built upon each other's knowledge. And this wasn't just happening in Greece. Across the ancient world, from the deserts of Mesopotamia to the jungles of Mesoamerica, cultures were making their own discoveries about the stars. The Greeks may have had the Antikythera Mechanism, but the Maya had their Venus tables, the Egyptians had their star-aligned pyramids, and the Polynesians had their celestial navigation techniques. Each culture brought its own perspective, its own way of interpreting the heavens. Together, they created a rich tapestry of knowledge, a global conversation about the cosmos that continues to inspire us today. So, as we marvel at the ingenuity of the Antikythera Mechanism, let's remember that it's just one piece of a much larger puzzle. The story of ancient astronomy isn't confined to one time or place. It's a story of curiosity, collaboration, and the unending human desire to understand the universe. And as we'll see next, this story didn't end with the ancient world. It's a legacy that continues to shape our modern understanding of the stars, reminding us that the sky has always been and always will be a source of wonder and discovery. Now let's journey to ancient China, a civilization whose contributions to astronomy were as vast and intricate as the starry skies they studied. While the Greeks were crafting the Antikythera Mechanism and the Maya were tracking Venus, Chinese astronomers were mapping the heavens with a precision that would influence their culture for millennia. But what made their approach so unique, and how did their observations shape not just their understanding of the cosmos, but also their society, governance, and even their sense of time? The Chinese were meticulous record keepers. For centuries, they documented celestial events with an almost obsessive attention to detail. Their star maps, some of the oldest in existence, weren't just artistic representations, they were scientific tools used to track the movements of the stars and planets. One of the most famous of these is the Dunhuang star chart, a stunningly detailed map created over 1,000 years ago. This chart, painted on paper, depicts over 1,300 stars grouped into constellations and marked with precise coordinates. It's a masterpiece of ancient astronomy, a testament to the Chinese commitment to understanding the heavens. But why were the stars so important to the Chinese? For them, the sky wasn't just a canvas of light, it was a mirror of the earth. They believed that celestial events like comets or supernova were omens, messages from the heavens that could predict the fate of the empire. This belief drove their astronomers to observe and record these events with incredible accuracy. In fact, some of the earliest recorded sightings of supernova come from Chinese texts. One of the most famous is the guest star of 1054, a supernova so bright it was visible during the day for weeks. Chinese astronomers documented its appearance, its position, and even its gradual fading, a record that modern scientists still use today to study the remnants of that cosmic explosion. The Chinese didn't just observe the stars, they built entire institutions around them. Imperial observatories like the one in Beijing were centers of learning and innovation. These weren't just places to gaze at the sky, they were hubs of scientific activity where astronomers developed tools like the armillary sphere, a complex instrument used to measure the positions of celestial objects. The Chinese also created some of the earliest astronomical clocks, like the water-powered cosmic engine, built by Su Song in the 11th century. This massive device not only told time but also tracked the movements of the stars, planets, and moon, blending art, science, and engineering in a way that was centuries ahead of its time. Astronomy wasn't just a science for the Chinese, it was a cornerstone of their culture. The emperor, known as the Son of Heaven, was seen as a bridge between the earth and the cosmos. By understanding the stars, he could maintain harmony between the heavens and his people. This belief made astronomy a matter of state importance. Astronomers were not just scholars, they were advisors, using their knowledge to guide decisions about agriculture, warfare, and even the construction of cities. The Chinese calendar, based on lunar and solar cycles, was another product of this celestial obsession. It wasn't just a way to mark time, it was a tool for organizing society, ensuring that festivals, harvests, and rituals were aligned with the rhythms of the universe. What's truly remarkable is how these ancient observations still resonate today. The Chinese records of comets and supernova are invaluable to modern astronomers, providing a window into the past that helps us understand the life cycles of stars. And their star maps, though created without telescopes, are so accurate that they're still studied by historians and scientists alike. The Chinese remind us that astronomy isn't just about looking up, it's about understanding our place in the cosmos and how the heavens shape our lives here on Earth. But the story of ancient astronomy doesn't end in China. Across the globe, from the deserts of Arabia to the islands of the Pacific, other cultures were making their own discoveries, each adding a unique thread to the tapestry of human knowledge. As we'll see next, these parallel developments weren't just coincidences, they were part of a shared human quest to unlock the secrets of the stars, a quest that continues to inspire us to this day. Now let's journey to the vibrant land of ancient India, where the stars weren't just observed, they were woven into the very fabric of life. Here, astronomy wasn't just a science, it was a sacred art deeply intertwined with spirituality, mathematics, and daily life. This tradition, known as Jyotisha, or the science of light, dates back thousands of years and remains one of the most sophisticated systems of celestial knowledge ever developed. But what made Jyotisha so unique? And how did Indian astronomers achieve such remarkable precision without the tools we have today? At the heart of Jyotisha was the belief that the cosmos and human life were deeply connected. The movements of the stars and planets weren't just random. They were seen as reflections of divine order, influencing everything from the seasons to individual destinies. Indian astronomers didn't just track celestial events. They sought to understand their meaning, using complex mathematical models to predict eclipses, planetary alignments, and even the timing of festivals. This wasn't just about curiosity, it was about harmony, ensuring that human actions aligned with the rhythms of the universe. One of the most striking examples of this tradition is the Jantar Mantar, a series of astronomical observatories built in the 18th century by Maharaja Jai Singh Roman II. These aren't your typical observatories with telescopes and domes. They're massive, open-air structures made of stone and marble, designed to measure the positions of celestial bodies with incredible accuracy. The largest of these, in Jaipur, features instruments like the Samrat Yantra, a giant sundial that can tell time within 2 seconds. Imagine standing in front of this towering structure, watching as the shadow of the sun moves across its carefully calibrated scales, marking the passage of time with a precision that rivals modern clocks. But the Jantar Mantar wasn't just about telling time. Its instruments were designed to track the movements of the sun, moon, and planets, allowing astronomers to predict eclipses, solstices, and equinoxes. The Jai Prakash Yantra, for example, is a hemispherical bowl with markings that let observers map the positions of stars and planets in the night sky. These weren't just tools for science, they were gateways to the divine, helping priests and scholars align their rituals with the cosmos. What's truly remarkable is the mathematical genius behind these instruments. Indian astronomers like Aryabhatta and Brahmagupta developed advanced theories about planetary motion, calculating the orbits of the sun and moon with astonishing accuracy. Aryabhatta, writing in the 5th century, even proposed that the Earth rotates on its axis, a revolutionary idea that wouldn't gain widespread acceptance in the West for over 1,000 years. These weren't just abstract theories, they were practical tools used to create calendars, predict eclipses, and guide everything from agriculture to architecture. But the story of Jyotisha isn't just about India. Like the Babylonians, Greeks, and Chinese, Indian astronomers were part of a global exchange of ideas. Their work influenced and was influenced by other cultures, creating a rich tapestry of knowledge that spanned continents. For example, Indian mathematical concepts, like the use of zero and the decimal system, spread to the Islamic world and eventually to Europe, transforming the way we understand numbers and the universe. This cultural exchange reminds us that the quest to understand the stars wasn't confined to one place or time. It was a shared human endeavor, a conversation that continues to this day. So, as we marvel at the precision of the Jantar Mantar and the brilliance of Indian astronomers, let's remember that their story is just one chapter in humanity's long relationship with the stars. From the pyramids of Egypt to the observatories of India, each culture brought its own perspective, its own way of interpreting the heavens. And as we'll see next, this global conversation wasn't just about science. It was about connection, about finding meaning in the vast, mysterious cosmos that surrounds us. Now, let's turn our gaze to a pivotal chapter in the history of astronomy, a time when the stars weren't just observed, but meticulously studied, refined, and preserved. This was the Islamic Golden Age, a period spanning from the 8th to the 14th centuries, when scholars across the Islamic world made groundbreaking contributions to science, mathematics, and of course, astronomy. But what made this era so transformative? And how did Islamic astronomers not only preserve the knowledge of ancient civilizations like the Greeks and Babylonians, but also push the boundaries of what humanity knew about the cosmos? At the heart of this golden age was a deep respect for knowledge. Islamic scholars didn't just collect the works of earlier civilizations, they translated, studied, and expanded upon them. Greek texts by thinkers like Ptolemy and Hipparchus, along with Babylonian star charts, were carefully preserved and analyzed, but this wasn't just about preservation, it was about innovation. Islamic astronomers took these ancient ideas and refined them, creating new tools, theories, and methods that would shape astronomy for centuries to come. One of their most iconic contributions was the astrolabe, a handheld device that could measure the positions of stars and planets, calculate time, and even determine the direction of Mecca for prayer. Think of it as the smartphone of its day, a versatile tool that combined science, art, and spirituality. The astrolabe wasn't just a technical marvel, it was a symbol of the Islamic Golden Age's blend of practicality and ingenuity. Scholars like al-Biruni and al-Zarqali perfected its design, creating instruments so precise that they were used for centuries, even influencing European astronomers during the Renaissance. But the astrolabe was just the beginning. Islamic astronomers also made significant advancements in star mapping. Building on the work of the Babylonians and Greeks, they created some of the most detailed and accurate star charts of their time. One of the most famous is the Book of Fixed Stars by Abd al-Rahman al-Sufi, a 10th century Persian astronomer. This masterpiece not only catalogued over 1,000 stars, but also included detailed illustrations of constellations, blending scientific observation with artistic beauty. Al-Sufi's work was so precise that it became a cornerstone of astronomy, influencing scholars from Europe to China. What's truly remarkable is how these advancements weren't confined to one region. The Islamic Golden Age was a global phenomenon, with scholars from Spain to Persia collaborating and sharing ideas. Observatories like the one in Marrakech, Iran, became centers of learning, where astronomers from different cultures worked together to refine their understanding of the cosmos. This spirit of collaboration and curiosity was a hallmark of the era, a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge knows no borders and the impact of these discoveries. It was nothing short of revolutionary. Islamic astronomers didn't just preserve ancient knowledge, they transformed it, laying the groundwork for the scientific revolution in Europe. Their star charts and instruments became essential tools for explorers, navigators, and scientists. Even today, the legacy of the Islamic Golden Age lives on, not just in the history books, but in the way we understand the universe. So, as we reflect on this extraordinary period, let's remember that the story of astronomy isn't just about one culture or one time. It's about the shared human quest to understand the stars. From the Babylonians to the Greeks, from the Islamic Golden Age to the modern era, each chapter builds on the last, creating a legacy that continues to inspire us. And as we'll see next, this legacy didn't stop with the stars. It extended to the very way we see our place in the cosmos. Now, let's step into the world of myth and legend, where the stars weren't just points of light. They were characters in epic tales, heroes and gods immortalized in the night sky. For ancient cultures, astronomy wasn't just about tracking the stars, it was about storytelling. The heavens became a canvas for their myths, a way to explain the mysteries of the universe and pass down knowledge through generations. But how did these stories shape their understanding of the cosmos? And what can we learn from the way they wove science and myth together? Take the Greeks, for example. Their constellations weren't just random patterns, they were the stuff of legend. Orion, the mighty hunter, strides across the winter sky, his belt of 3 bright stars unmistakable. According to myth, Orion was a giant so skilled that he boasted he could hunt every animal on Earth, but his arrogance angered the gods and they sent a scorpion to kill him. To this day, Orion and Scorpius are placed on opposite sides of the sky, forever chasing each other but never meeting. This story wasn't just entertainment, it was a way to remember the stars' positions and their seasonal movements. By turning the sky into a stage for their myths, the Greeks made astronomy unforgettable. The Maya, too, had their own celestial stories. One of the most famous is the tale of the hero twins, Hunahpu and Exbalanque. These brothers ventured into the underworld to defeat the gods of death, ultimately rising into the sky to become the sun and moon. For the Maya, this wasn't just a story, it was a way to explain the cycles of day and night, the phases of the moon, and even the changing seasons. Their myths weren't separate from their science, they were a way to encode and preserve astronomical knowledge. By telling these stories, the Maya ensured that their understanding of the cosmos would endure, passed down from one generation to the next. But mythology didn't just preserve knowledge, it also shaped how ancient cultures interacted with the stars. The Egyptians, for instance, saw the sky as the realm of the gods. The sun god Ra sailed across the heavens in a boat, bringing light to the world each day. This wasn't just a poetic image, it reflected their observations of the sun's daily journey across the sky. By linking the stars to their gods, the Egyptians made astronomy a sacred practice, a way to connect with the divine and ensure the harmony of their world. What's fascinating is how these myths served a practical purpose. They weren't just stories, they were tools for teaching and remembering. Imagine trying to explain the complex movements of the stars without a written language or modern technology. Myths made it easier. They turned abstract concepts into vivid, memorable tales, helping people navigate the night sky and predict celestial events. In a way, mythology was the original user manual for the cosmos. And this blending of myth and science wasn't limited to one culture. Across the globe, from the Norse tales of the wolf's girl chasing the sun to the Aboriginal Dreamtime stories of the emu in the sky, ancient peoples used mythology to make sense of the stars. These stories weren't just about the heavens, they were about us, about our place in the universe and our relationship with the forces that shape our lives. So, as we marvel at the myths of the past, let's remember that they were more than just stories. They were a way to understand the cosmos, to preserve knowledge, and to connect with something greater than ourselves. And as we'll see next, this connection wasn't just spiritual, it was practical, shaping everything from agriculture to architecture. The stars weren't just a source of wonder, they were a guide, a clock, and a map, helping ancient cultures navigate the challenges of their world. Now, let's shift our focus from the myths and legends of the stars to something equally fascinating: the practical uses of ancient observatories. These structures weren't just monuments to the heavens, they were tools that shaped the daily lives of entire civilizations. Imagine living in a world without calendars, clocks, or GPS. How would you know when to plant your crops, when to sail across the ocean, or even when to celebrate a festival? For ancient cultures, the answer lay in the stars, but how exactly did they use their observatories to navigate the challenges of their world? And what can their ingenuity teach us about our own relationship with the cosmos? Let's start with agriculture, the backbone of every ancient civilization. For farmers, timing was everything. Plant too early and your crops might freeze. Plant too late and they might wither in the heat. But how could you predict the changing seasons without modern weather forecasts? The answer came from the stars. Ancient observatories like Stonehenge or the pyramids of Egypt were often aligned with celestial events that marked the turning of the seasons. The summer solstice, for example, signaled the longest day of the year and the start of the growing season. By tracking the sun's movements, ancient farmers could plan their planting and harvesting with precision, ensuring their survival and prosperity. But it wasn't just about the sun. The moon and stars also played a crucial role. The Maya, for instance, used their observatories to track the cycles of Venus, which they believed influenced the timing of rains. By predicting when Venus would rise as the morning star, they could prepare for the rainy season, a critical factor for their maize crops. Similarly, the ancient Chinese used their star maps to align their agricultural calendar with the movements of the moon, ensuring that festivals and planting times were perfectly synchronized with the rhythms of nature. Now let's talk about navigation. Long before GPS or even the magnetic compass, the stars were humanity's first maps. Sailors and traders relied on the night sky to guide them across vast oceans and uncharted lands. The Polynesians, for example, were master navigators who used the stars to travel thousands of miles between islands. They memorized the positions of key stars and constellations, using them as waypoints to navigate the open sea. Their knowledge of the heavens was so precise that they could even detect subtle changes in the ocean's currents and winds, all by observing the stars. But navigation wasn't just about finding your way. It was also about timing. Ancient observatories helped sailors predict the best times to set sail, avoiding storms and taking advantage of favorable winds. The Babylonians, for instance, used their star charts to predict the movements of the planets, which they believed influenced the weather. By aligning their voyages with these celestial patterns, they could increase their chances of a safe and successful journey. And then there's timekeeping. For ancient cultures, the stars weren't just a map, they were a clock. The Egyptians, for example, divided the night into 12 hours, each marked by the rising of a specific star. Their obelisks and pyramids served as giant sundials, casting shadows that tracked the passage of time. Similarly, the Chinese developed water-powered astronomical clocks that could measure time with incredible accuracy, blending art and science in a way that was centuries ahead of its time. But perhaps the most awe-inspiring use of ancient observatories was their ability to predict celestial events like eclipses. For many cultures, eclipses were seen as omens, messages from the gods that could foretell the fate of kings and empires. By carefully tracking the movements of the sun and moon, ancient astronomers could predict when an eclipse would occur, often with remarkable precision. The Babylonians, for example, used their Saros cycle to predict eclipses down to the day, a feat that still amazes modern scientists. These predictions weren't just scientific achievements, they were vital to the stability of ancient societies. Imagine the chaos if a king didn't know when an eclipse was coming. By predicting these events, astronomers could reassure their people, maintain order, and even use the eclipse as a tool for political power. In a world where the heavens were seen as a reflection of the divine, understanding the stars wasn't just a matter of curiosity, it was a matter of survival. So, what's the legacy of these ancient observatories? Their influence extends far beyond the past. The methods and tools they developed laid the foundation for modern astronomy. The Babylonian star charts, the Greeks' mathematical models, and the Chinese's detailed records all contributed to our current understanding of the cosmos. Even today, we use many of the same principles like the Saros cycle to predict eclipses and other celestial events. But perhaps the most enduring legacy is the way these ancient cultures remind us of our connection to the stars. They didn't just observe the heavens, they lived by them, using the stars to guide their lives and shape their societies. In a world increasingly dominated by technology, their story is a powerful reminder that the stars are more than just distant lights, they're a part of who we are, a link to the past and a guide to the future. And as we'll see next, this connection isn't just a relic of history, it's a living legacy, one that continues to inspire and shape our modern world. From the way we measure time to the way we explore the universe, the stars are still our guide, just as they were for the ancients. So, as we look to the future, let's remember the lessons of the past and keep our eyes on the stars. Now, let's bring our journey full circle and explore how the legacy of ancient astronomy continues to shape the science of today. Think about it. Thousands of years ago, without telescopes or satellites, ancient cultures mapped the stars, predicted eclipses, and even calculated the movements of planets. But how did their discoveries influence the way we study the cosmos now? And what can we learn from their ingenuity that still resonates in modern astronomy? The answer lies in the tools and techniques they developed. Take star catalogues, for example. The Babylonians were among the first to create detailed records of celestial objects, mapping the positions of hundreds of stars and planets. These early catalogues weren't just lists, they were the foundation of modern astronomy. When Greek astronomers like Hipparchus and Ptolemy built on this knowledge, they created star maps that would guide navigators and scientists for centuries. Even today, astronomers use similar methods to track the positions of stars, planets, and galaxies, building on the work of those ancient sky watchers. But it's not just about star charts. Ancient instruments like the astrolabe and the armillary sphere were the precursors to modern telescopes and satellites. The astrolabe, perfected by Islamic astronomers, was a handheld device that could measure the positions of stars and planets, calculate time, and even determine the direction of Mecca. While we've replaced these tools with advanced technology, the principles behind them remain the same. Modern telescopes like the Hubble Space Telescope still rely on the same basic idea, observing and measuring the light from distant objects to understand the universe. And then there's the math. Ancient astronomers didn't just observe the stars, they developed complex mathematical models to explain their movements. The Babylonian Saros cycle, used to predict eclipses, is still in use today. The Greeks' geometric theories about planetary motion laid the groundwork for Isaac Newton's laws of gravity. Even the Antikythera Mechanism, that ancient Greek analog computer, reminds us that the quest to model the cosmos has been a driving force in human history. Today, we use supercomputers to simulate the universe, but the goal is the same: to understand the patterns and forces that govern the stars. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of ancient astronomy is the way it reminds us of our connection to the cosmos. For ancient cultures, the stars weren't just distant lights, they were a source of meaning, a way to navigate the world and understand our place in it. That sense of wonder and curiosity still drives modern astronomy. When we look through a telescope or study the data from a space probe, we're continuing a tradition that began thousands of years ago under the same night sky. And yet, despite all our advancements, the ancient observatories still hold mysteries. How did the builders of Stonehenge align their stones with such precision? What secrets are hidden in the star maps of the Maya or the pyramids of Egypt? These questions remind us that the story of astronomy is far from over. Every discovery we make builds on the work of those who came before, adding new chapters to humanity's ongoing quest to understand the universe. So, as we reflect on the legacy of ancient astronomy, let's remember that the stars are more than just a scientific curiosity. They're a bridge between the past and the future. The same sky that inspired the Babylonians, the Greeks, and the Maya still inspires us today, reminding us that the quest for knowledge is as timeless as the stars themselves. And as we continue to explore the cosmos, we're not just uncovering the secrets of the universe, we're honoring the legacy of those ancient sky watchers who first dared to look up and dream. But even with all we've learned, there are still mysteries that leave us scratching our heads. How did ancient civilizations, without the tools we take for granted today, achieve such astonishing precision in their observatories? How did they align massive stone structures with celestial events down to the fraction of a degree? And perhaps the most tantalizing question of all, did they possess knowledge or technology that has since been lost to time? These aren't just idle curiosities, they're puzzles that challenge our understanding of history and human ingenuity. Take, for example, the Great Pyramid of Giza. Its alignment with the cardinal directions is so precise that modern engineers struggle to replicate it without advanced tools. How did the ancient Egyptians, working over 4,000 years ago, achieve such accuracy? Some theories suggest they used the stars themselves as guides, perhaps tracking the North Star or the sun's path across the sky. Others propose they had access to sophisticated surveying tools that have since disappeared from the historical record. But the truth is, we still don't know for sure. The Great Pyramid remains a testament to their skill and a mystery that continues to baffle us. Then there's the Antikythera Mechanism, that ancient Greek computer we discussed earlier. Its intricate gears and dials suggest a level of technological sophistication that seems out of place in the ancient world. How did the Greeks, over 2,000 years ago, create something so advanced? Some speculate that it was the product of a lost tradition of engineering, one that may have been passed down from even earlier civilizations. Others wonder if it was inspired by knowledge from outside the Mediterranean world, perhaps from cultures in the East. Whatever the case, the Antikythera Mechanism reminds us that the ancient world was far more complex and interconnected than we often assume. And let's not forget the Nazca lines in Peru. These massive geoglyphs etched into the desert floor are only fully visible from the air. Some researchers believe they were used as astronomical markers, aligning with the sun, moon, and stars during specific times of the year. But how did the Nazca people, who lived over 1,000 years ago, create such precise designs without the ability to see them from above? Some theories suggest they used simple tools and careful planning, while others propose more unconventional explanations, like the idea that they had help from advanced beings or even extraterrestrial visitors. While this theory is controversial, it highlights just how mysterious these ancient sites remain. Of course, not every mystery needs an otherworldly explanation. Many of these achievements can be attributed to the ingenuity and determination of ancient civilizations. They may not have had modern tools, but they had something just as powerful: a deep understanding of the natural world and an unwavering commitment to their craft. They observed, experimented, and refined their methods over generations, passing down knowledge that allowed them to achieve feats that still amaze us today. So, as we ponder these unsolved mysteries, let's not forget the human element. These weren't just anonymous builders or faceless cultures, they were people, just like us, driven by curiosity and a desire to understand the world around them. Whether they were aligning pyramids, crafting intricate mechanisms, or etching massive designs into the desert, they were pushing the boundaries of what was possible, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire and challenge us. And that's the real wonder of ancient observatories. They remind us that the quest for knowledge is as old as humanity itself. The stars may have guided them, but it was their ingenuity, their creativity, and their determination that truly lit the way. So, the next time you look up at the night sky, take a moment to think about those ancient sky watchers and the mysteries they left behind, waiting for us to uncover. Now, let's step out of the past and into the present, because the story of ancient observatories isn't just something to read about. It's something you can experience for yourself. Imagine standing in the shadow of Stonehenge, feeling the weight of history as the sun rises over those ancient stones, or walking through the Jantar Mantar in Jaipur, marveling at the precision of instruments that still track the stars with uncanny accuracy. These sites aren't just relics of the past, they're living monuments, places where you can connect with the ingenuity and wonder of ancient civilizations. So where can you go to experience this magic firsthand? Let's take a journey around the world to some of the most iconic ancient observatories still standing today. First, there's Stonehenge, the crown jewel of prehistoric astronomy. Located in the rolling hills of southern England, this massive stone circle has captivated visitors for centuries. Walking among the towering sarsen stones, you can't help but feel a sense of awe. During the summer solstice, the site comes alive as the sun rises directly over the heel stone, casting its rays into the heart of the circle. It's a moment that connects you to the ancient people who built this monument, reminding you that the stars have always been a part of our story. And with modern visitor centers offering insights into its history and significance, Stonehenge is more accessible than ever. Next, let's travel to India, where the Jyotisha observatories stand as a testament to the brilliance of ancient Indian astronomy. Built in the 18th century by Maharaja Jai Singh Roman II, these open-air structures are a marvel of engineering and design. The largest of these, in Jaipur, features instruments like the Samrat Yantra, a giant sundial that can tell time within 2 seconds. Walking through the Jyotisha feels like stepping into a giant celestial clock, where every stone and angle has a purpose. It's a place where science and art collide, offering a glimpse into a world where the stars were both a guide and a source of inspiration. But the journey doesn't stop there. In Egypt, the Great Pyramid of Giza continues to draw visitors from around the world. While its role as a tomb is well known, its astronomical significance is equally fascinating. Standing at the base of this colossal structure, you can't help but wonder how the ancient Egyptians aligned it so precisely with the stars. Nearby, the Temple of Karnak in Luxor offers another glimpse into their celestial knowledge, with its massive columns and obelisks aligned to capture the sun's rays during key astronomical events. It's a reminder that the stars weren't just a source of wonder, they were a blueprint for some of the most iconic structures in human history. And then there's Chichen Itza in Mexico, home to the Pyramid of Kukulkan. During the spring and autumn equinoxes, the setting sun casts shadows along the pyramid steps, creating the illusion of a serpent slithering down its side. It's a breathtaking display of ancient ingenuity, one that draws thousands of visitors each year. But Chichen Itza isn't just about the equinoxes, it's a place where you can explore the Mayas' deep connection to the stars, from the Caracol Observatory to the intricate carvings that tell the story of their celestial gods. These sites are more than just tourist destinations, they're windows into the past, places where you can walk in the footsteps of ancient astronomers and feel the weight of their discoveries. But they are also a reminder that the stars are still here, still guiding us, just as they did thousands of years ago. Whether you're standing beneath the towering stones of Stonehenge or gazing up at the pyramids of Egypt, you're part of a story that spans millennia, a story of curiosity, discovery, and the unending human desire to understand the cosmos. So, as we wrap up our journey through the world of ancient observatories, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. From the solstice alignments of Stonehenge to the precision of the Jyotisha, these sites remind us that the stars have always been more than just points of light. They've been a source of inspiration, a guide, and a connection to something greater than ourselves. And while we may have advanced telescopes and satellites today, the wonder of the night sky remains the same. So, the next time you look up at the stars, remember the ancient sky watchers who came before us, and let their legacy inspire you to keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep dreaming. After all, the story of the stars isn't just theirs, it's ours too. As we come to the end of our journey through the world of ancient astronomical observatories, it's impossible not to be struck by the sheer ingenuity and precision of these ancient structures. From the towering stones of Stonehenge to the intricate gears of the Antikythera Mechanism, these monuments are more than just relics of the past, they're testaments to the brilliance of human curiosity and determination. Without telescopes, satellites, or computers, ancient civilizations mapped the stars, predicted eclipses, and even tracked the movements of planets with astonishing accuracy. They turned the night sky into a tool for survival, spirituality, and discovery, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire us today. But what's truly remarkable is how these ancient observatories connect us to the cosmos. They remind us that the stars have always been more than just distant lights. They've been a source of meaning, a guide, and a way to understand our place in the universe. Whether it was the Maya tracking Venus to predict the rains, the Egyptians aligning their pyramids with Orion, or the Babylonians calculating the Saros cycle to predict eclipses, these cultures saw the heavens as a reflection of their world and a key to unlocking its mysteries. And yet, for all we've learned, there's still so much we don't know. How did the builders of Stonehenge align their stones with such precision? What secrets are hidden in the star maps of the Maya or the pyramids of Egypt? These questions remind us that the story of ancient astronomy is far from over. Every discovery we make builds on the work of those who came before, adding new chapters to humanity's ongoing quest to understand the universe. So, as we look to the stars, let's remember the ancient sky watchers who first dared to look up and dream. Their legacy lives on, not just in the stones and instruments they left behind, but in the way they inspire us to keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep reaching for the stars. What other secrets of the cosmos might they have known? What mysteries are still waiting to be uncovered? We'd love to hear your thoughts. What fascinates you most about ancient astronomy? Share your ideas in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more explorations into the mysteries of history. The stars have always been our guide, and the journey is far from over. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.